Where do the Bulldogs stand with the nation's #1 overall prospect in the 2023 class? That is, of course, LT Overton at Milton High School. And, of course, the answer is over on Dog Post. I actually went to Milton's practice earlier this morning, and before the practice, I spoke with Overton about his visit to Georgia back on June 1st and his other visits as well. He was out to Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama. I think he took a trip to Clemson as well. But this is one of the best players that I've covered at the high school level, and he's only coming off his sophomore season. He did lead the state in sacks, 21 and a half. Incredible for any type of sophomore, but he is the absolute real deal. I think he is a Sunday player, probably a first-round pick, maybe a top 10 pick, but I think he's going to be a superstar no matter where he goes. Just so explosive off the edge against, getting after the quarterback, stopping the run on the edge. 6'5", about 260, I think, maybe a little bit more than that. Was taking reps on offense. Could be an all-state tight end, I think, if you wanted to, as that type of athleticism. A forward on the basketball team, one of the best basketball teams across the country over at Milton. The guy is a tremendous athlete, and he's a guy that Georgia fans need to keep a close eye on. The Bulldogs are in the mix. We talked a little bit about his recruitment. But again, he is not a Georgia kid. His dad played at Oklahoma, was the assistant athletic director at Texas A&M, was also the assistant athletic director at Alabama before moving over here to Georgia, where he is now the current athletic director at Kennesaw State University. So LT has bounced around a little bit. I think Texas is home to him. That's why the Aggies, I think, are in that top 5 for him. He also lived in Alabama a little bit and knows just about every member of the Alabama staff that has been there for the past few years. He has a great relationship with Nick Saban already. And, of course, he was blown away by his visit there last month. So, of course, the Crimson Tide are in the mix. So this is not a kid who grew up living in Georgia, watched the Bulldogs play, had family members that went there. So it's hard to really call him an in-state guy. Of course, he'll play most of his high school career in the state of Georgia, about 2 hours away from Athens, where he is at Milton. But he's absolutely a guy to know. He looks like a 5-star every time I see him. I saw him play in person last year against Johns Creek. And he went up against a D1 left tackle and ended up getting 4 or 5 sacks in the first half alone, I think. He was an absolute tear off the edge. And again, he was just a sophomore this year. I expect him to probably lead the state in sacks again. He has the talent to do it, the athleticism. He is absolutely the man. Milton is absolutely loaded too. I'll probably have a story on all of their the latest guys that they have. They have Jack Nickel, tight end, going to Michigan State. Mo Clipper on the offensive line, going to Tennessee. So more on those guys over on Dog Post, of course, if you're up for that. But y'all are here to get an idea of where he's going, and I think Georgia is absolutely in the mix. I would not call them his leader right now, but they're definitely a team that really impressed him. Again, the first available time he was allowed to take visits, he took it to visit Georgia in Athens that first day. So definitely a guy to keep an eye on. Another guy I saw today, of course, 4-star tight end Oscar Delp. If you've watched these videos, if you've been on Dog Post much in the past 9-10 months, you know how important he is to Georgia's 2022 class. Plays right down the road for me at West Forsyth. I can go see him whenever I want. So if you want the latest on Oscar's recruitment at any point, Dog Post is the place to be. I spoke with him about his official visit to South Carolina, to Florida. I've already written about his official visit to Georgia. Of course, that's on Dog Post. So I'll have a story on the latest with Oscar, when he might make a commitment, what means the most to him, what teams are towards the top of his list. That'll be coming out probably tomorrow. So if you're watching this video shortly after it comes out, make sure you get over to Dog Post to read that story. There's going to be a lot of really good stuff in there. But pass catching weapon, absolutely. 6'4", about 220, runs like a receiver, he runs a great route, got big, strong hands, physical in the rushing game, can put a guy on their butt if he needs to. He checks all the boxes, and there's a reason why I think he is the nation's #1 tight end prospect. And we will have lots of highlights of him over time until he makes his commitment. Georgia, again, is in the mix there. Don't rule out South Carolina. Don't rule out Clemson just yet. He really enjoyed his visit to Florida. Alabama is a team that really made an impression on him during his visit in June. He had spent a lot of quality time with Nick Saban. I think the Tide are in this a little more than people think. But Georgia's definitely in the mix. He talks to Todd Hartley all the time. Denial Morissette, 4-star wide receiver commitment. Calls Oscar every day is what he told me. So the Bulldogs need him, but the South Carolina Gamecocks have made a big push in his recruitment. He is their guy. They are making it a team and community effort really to reel him in, get him to commit to the Gamecocks. He is a South Carolina legacy, so that's really why they are strongly in the mix. That was one of his favorite teams growing up. So Athens might be a little closer and bigger, but they're going to have to throw the football to the tight end. And I think whoever does that more in September, I think he's going to check out a couple games this fall. But whichever team shows him that they can throw the tight end and get him the opportunities that he wants early on, that's going to be the team that eventually signs him down the road. So if Clemson can do that, Florida, Alabama pumps out tight ends as well. So I do think that a decision is still trying to be made. A lot of people think he's a slam dunk to Georgia right now, and they might be the team to beat. I'm not going to say they're not, but I do think that there are other teams firmly in the mix as well. I think he'll make a commitment around September 30th, the end of September. I think he wants to get a couple games in and watch some of these offenses before he makes a big-time decision. He's not a kid who's going to decommit, so he's going to make sure he knows exactly where he wants to go. Might do it a little sooner than that, but I don't think it'll drag on really into October unless something crazy happens. So two of the best players definitely in the state of Georgia, probably in the state of country in my eyes, two guys that I saw this morning. So there's an update on both. One of them, the number one player in the entire country for the 2023 class. The other, the number one tight end in the 2022 class. Big Georgia targets, both of them. And there's going to be a recruiting update on both of them over on Dog Post, so make sure you check that out, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you learned something. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I'll see you over on the website.